Okay, well today I'm bringing out my elementary school crafting skills as we try making some homemade feeding toys, because today is the day. If you haven't guessed it already, we are talking feeding toys. So welcome to Cat Chat, where we demystify the feline in your family. Okay, so if you've watched any of my videos, you already know I love feeding toys, and I think every single cat should have a feeding toy, if not more than one. And you don't have to spend a lot of money doing feeding toys. You can definitely do homemade toys. This one that I've made for Maggie is going to be our latest one to try. It's just a bunch of toilet paper tubes that I've taped together. We're going to put a back on it, and then I'm going to suspend it so she has to stand up and reach to get those kibble out. Anyway, moving on. What else can you do that's free? Well, egg carton works really well. You can put food into the little divots, and then they have to reach in and pull them out. So that's a free one that works really well. A muffin tin is another good example of a free one, and that's a great one for canned food. For people who are feeding canned food, which is great for their cats, a lot of them ask me, what can you do for feeding toys? Well, anything they have to dig in. So for example, this cat-it with the little buckets in it, they have to reach in and dig out. The dollar store is a great place to go to find ideas for feeding toys. Now Maggie, to start, couldn't get these little green cups out, and so what I did is I took these cups, I turned them upside down, and I would fill them with kibble. Well, I didn't really fill them. I put a few kibble in each one. Then I would hide these around the house. So she had to search the house, hunt, to find the little green cups, and then she would have to dig them out to work a little bit to get her kibble. And then what I did with this was I would put some kibble inside here. I'd scrunch up a ball, put a ball of paper on each side. So she'd have to knock it off, but it was really easy to knock the paper ball off, and she would get the kibble out. But what she learned was that there was kibble in here, and she had to get whatever was covering this to get it out. Then, with just one, I would put kibble in it and cover it up with the plastic green cup. Now, I did make sure that she had kibble like in her cat tree back here. I did want to make sure that she was getting her food. I did not want all her food in here and at the end of the day find out she hadn't eaten anything. So gradually we can train our cats to do more and more difficult ones. I have a variety of feeding toys because we do know cats get bored. But you do want to start with easy feeding toys first and then gradually work up to it. Cats, if they get frustrated, they're going to give up. So they need to be successful. These balls work really well. They're very inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at pet stores. We have them at the clinic. And they just have a little hole in them that you can make it wide or you can make it small to make it harder. And it's a great one that when you bat it around, kibble falls out right away, and so the cat's instantly rewarded. And then once they know that they can be rewarded, then you can make it a little bit more difficult. And in fact, for August, when we are having our cat health month, I drilled holes into a whole bunch of tennis balls to give away to all our cat owners, because I think this is so important. And so to make this difficult, you would just put a little bit of kibble in it, so when it rolled, the kibble didn't automatically fall out. But to train a cat to start, you want to fill it with kibble so that every time the ball moves, some kibble falls out so that they're rewarded immediately. Now, one of my favorite feeding toys is these hunting mice by Doc and Phoebe's. And what they are these little plastic mice that you fill with kibble, and then you hide these mice around the house, and the cats have to go hunt them. When they find them, they have to shake and bat them to get the food out. Stimulates hunting, and we already know that hunting releases dopamine, and dopamine's the happy hormone. So anything we can do to stimulate hunting can help keep our cats happy and help keep them from being bored. It worked just the same when I took kibble and put them in this cup and hid those around. And then I have the Bino toys, and these are unique little toys that I change because just like toddlers, they get bored. I have things like ice cube trays. The ice cube trays work really well to try and get the kibble out of. These I thought of. These are just those little wrappers that you get from the dollar store. The whole bag was about $1, and what all I did was close up the end. I folded it over, taped it, then I put a couple of kibble in them, hide them around the house, and she would go searching for these, and then when she would bat it, she would get her kibble out. Okay, I can't say it enough. I love feeding toys, and what really got me onto feeding toys is this study, and I talked about this study in the video, Keeping It in the Box Part 2. I'll put the link to that in the show notes below. What we know is that feeding toys help decrease stress in our cats, and we know that our indoor cats are more prone to boredom, and boredom alone can increase stress, and we can see an increase in cortisol, the stress hormone, in our indoor cats, and that stress alone can make our cats sick. So we need to make sure that we give our cats jobs and give them something to do. And feeding toys, fun and fantastic way to interact with your cat. So Maggie has 2 new feeding toys coming, and when they arrive, I'll make sure to videotape her learning how to use those feeding toys. And I hope that you too will use feeding toys with your cat. Share with me your most creative idea for a homemade feeding toy with your cat. I'm Dr. Shelley Horvat for Cat Chat. I hope this helps. Feeding toys alone can help with a number of problems, including obesity, diabetes. No, feeding toys will not help with diabetes, but dealing with the obesity can help with diabetes.